We have a college basketball early season showdown at Xfinity Center on Friday night. A primetime showdown on Fox Sports 1 as the undefeated 15th ranked Marquette Golden Eagles come into College Park to face the Maryland Terps, who are also 3-0, and look to make a statement at home against a ranked team in an early season showdown, which will go a long way into March. God's favorite host, back with another Maryland basketball preview and prediction video. Make sure you slam dunk that subscribe button, lay up that like button, and go ahead and block that bell. Sound off in the comment section. Let me know your predictions for the game, your thoughts on the season early on so far, and what are your predictions for this game? How do you see it playing out? And if you don't have any thoughts, leave your favorite emoji. Let me know I'm doing a good job. Let me know I'm doing a bad job. Hit that thumbs up. It helps us out tremendously. Let's get into this preview expeditiously as the Marquette Golden Eagles. If you don't know where Marquette is, this is something I had to look up, not recently, but I did have to look up at one point. Where in the world is Marquette? Now, Marquette is located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Go Google it.
Yes, I did go Google it.
Go Google it.
Yes, Marquette is in Milwaukee. Shaka Khan. No, not Shaka Khan. Shaka Smart is the head coach of the Golden Eagles, the former coach of the VCU Rams in the Virginia area, who he rose to prominence, went to Texas, now in Marquette, and now has a perennial top 15 team that is looking to do damage. And this is the second meeting between the two teams, as I've mentioned. This will happen on Friday night. The second matchup, the first was a championship game of the 2019 Orlando Invitational. Maryland claimed that outing 84-63 on December 1st, holding Marquette's all-time leading scorer Marcus Howard to just 6 points after he averaged 45.5 per game in the event, with wins over Davidson and USC. Brendan Bailey scored a career-best 27 points in the title game for the Eagles. Just with one prior meeting, Marquette fans are familiar with head coach Kevin Willett, who was at Seton Hall for 12 seasons from 2010 to 2022, which included a run in the 2016 Big East tournament, which he did win the tournament championship in 2016. Now, looking at this game, both teams are 3-0. Early on, you look at Marquette, they beat Stony Brook 102-62, George Mason 82-63, and Central Michigan 70-62. So not really a world beater list, a murderer's row of opponents there, not really much to write home about. Light competition. They have Maryland on the road, then they go back home to face Purdue. So a tough stretch for them coming up. Two tough games on the road against Maryland and against the highest rated team in the Big Ten ranking-wise, Purdue, just after that. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how they come in. They're number 15 in the nation. This is Maryland's toughest test, obviously, so far. Maryland beat Manhattan 79-49, Mount St. Mary's 86-52, and Florida A&M 84-53. As mentioned, Marquette on Friday, then Canisius, Villanova, Bucknell, Alcorn State. Then not another ranked team until December 4th against the Ohio State, which is a home game. Then they have a tough stretch going after that game 4 days later to Purdue on the road. So if they could win this game against Marquette, and I'll give you my prediction in a second because I am feeling confident. If they could win this game against Marquette, get to 4-0, they could get to 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, 8-0. Could they be 8-0 potentially heading into the matchup with Ohio State and Purdue? And even if you lose those two games, 8-2 in your first 10, that's not a bad start. Now, if you lose to Marquette, you still could enter the matchup 7-1. Not the worst record. We've seen worse. That is still a solid start because Marquette is obviously the better team, obviously more talent, specifically because a lot of the guys that they have played together longer. But Marquette does have a lot of freshmen, and I'll get to that in my keys where I think Maryland can take advantage as well. Now, like I said, I would love to be 8-0 going into the Ohio State and Purdue game. You could lose both. You're 8-2. If you go into there 7-1, you lose both. You're 7-3. You split. I'd like to be 8-2 in the first game. However they get there, I'll take it. If they can be 8-2, I'll be glad with that. Looking at the numbers here, points per game, Marquette and Maryland. Marquette 84.7, Maryland 83. Points against, 62.3 for Marquette, 51.3 by Maryland. Stingy defense so far, 45.2 for Maryland, 45.3 for Marquette. So they're both basically the same. Maryland dominating on the boards, 42 to Marquette's 37. Assists, Marquette has 18 to Maryland's 12. Blocks, Marquette 5 to Maryland's 4.3. Steals, 14, which they are very good at because Marquette brings a lot of pressure. They blitz you. They hound you. They double you. They try to trap you and keep you in a corner and make you make tough passes or make you turn the ball over. I have to call a timeout. Both teams are, as I mentioned, 3-0. Leading scorer for Marquette is Mr. Cam Jones. He is a senior, averaging 22, 6 assists, 69% from the field with 3 rebounds for Marquette. So he's a guy you're going to have to contain. You got to try to keep him under 20 points if possible. And Mr. Joplin, David Joplin, also a forward, a little undersized, 6'8", but another senior. So Cam Jones and David Joplin, 2 senior-led pieces to this team. You see why they're ranked in the top 15. They have senior leadership, guys that have been around for a while and have played together under Shaka Smart, his coaching and leadership. He's averaging 15 and 6, only shooting 33% from the field, but leading rebounder, but only 6'8". So remember that. So as I get into this game, Maryland is predicted to win 6-43.1. How about Rodney Rice, 16.7 points per game, 56.3% from the field. Leading scorer for the Terps so far, and I think that is a point I want to park at for a second. The Maryland Terps have done a fantastic job this season winning in a variety of ways. It's not a one-man band as my camera goes out. I don't know if it's overheated, if I've been working too hard, or the quality of it just isn't the best. But as I bring up the matchup here from a betting perspective, Maryland has won in a variety of ways. They've won with a leading scorer, a different leading scorer in every game. Last year, this team was very dependent on a Jameer Young, very dependent upon him to really much carry this team on his back. And if he wasn't going, if he didn't give you 20, 25 a night, this team didn't have a chance to win. But you look at Manhattan, Derek Queen, what a debut, 2020. You look at Mount St. Mary's, Rodney Rice, the leading scorer currently. He comes in and does his thing. And then against FAMU, Julian Reese, the senior, one of the Twin Towers, doing his thing against FAMU, pounding him inside. And he had a big-time game and, most importantly, made his free throws also. So a big-time job there so far by the Maryland Terps, getting it done in a variety of ways. I love the versatility. I love the unpredictability. And as a defense, you can't key in on one player. Now, as I look at my keys to the game, I have 3. Number 1, handle the pressure. You know it's coming. You handle the press. You know it's coming from Shaka Smart. That's what he's known for. He's going to bring pressure. He's going to trap you. He's going to run guys at you. He's going to force you to make tough passes. You're going to have to use your basketball IQ and limit your turnovers, handle the press. Secondly, looking at their roster, they don't have a lot of size. As I mentioned, Joplin, leading rebounder, he's only 6'8". Juju and Derek Queen are bigger than him. And honestly, a lot of their big guys they have are freshmen. So I think Maryland can pound them inside, get to the free throw line, make your free throws, get them in foul trouble, out-rebound them, give yourself multiple opportunities on the offensive end. That will be imperative in this game because we know Maryland is not the best team from the perimeter. So getting those rebounds, pounding them inside, playing inside out, forcing them to double team you, then having an opportunity for open shots on the perimeter is imperative. And thirdly, bench production. I think the Maryland depth is something that they can hang their hat on this season while it is early. While I think Kevin Willard is still figuring out his rotations, I think this is a team that has some depth. They can go 7, 8, 9 deep possibly and keep defenses on their toes. And when you're facing a team that's going to press you, you need to conserve your energy. You need to keep guys fresh. And I think that's going to be very, very important as we move closer to what they're going to be doing this season. Like I said, I don't know why my camera is blurry, but I'm going to keep breaking it down for you, keep giving you this preview. As mentioned, we also have, looking at Maryland's schedule, as I said, if they can win this game, and I'm going with Maryland to get the win, I'm going to pull up their schedule one more time so you can take a look at it instead of looking at my blurry face. I think Maryland, I think they win against Marquette. I think it's maybe more of a high-scoring game. Maybe both teams are over 65, 70. Could this be a game in the 80s? I would not be surprised if this is a game that's maybe close to the 80s for both teams, but the level of competition for both has upped. And it'll be intriguing to see how Maryland handles that initial pressure of the Golden Eagles. And now, if they can withstand that, not turn the ball over and beat themselves, handle that press, get in the half court, pound them inside, and use their bench, I think Maryland can win this game. I think Maryland can beat Marquette. I think they can win the next few games on their schedule, and then we can see what happens when you get to the Ohio State and Purdue games, which will be interesting, and those will be a nice marking point of the season. 10 games in, how are you? If you're 8-2, we'll take it. 7-3, you'll take that too. I'm not going to lie, but if you could potentially be 8-2, you'd love to be that as well, especially considering after that stretch, you got St. Francis, Syracuse, Eastern Shore, Washington, Oregon, UCLA, Minnesota, Northwestern, Nebraska, Illinois, then at Indiana. So even after that first 10, the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the next 10. So if you want to break it this season down into increments of 10, the first 10, if you can win 8, the next 10 you can win 8, you're already at 16. You're at what you did last year. So let's see how they do. I'm going to mark it at the first 10 after the Purdue game, Ohio State and Purdue, home and away, respectively, back-to-back. But if they can win against Marquette, ladies and gentlemen, I think they have a shot to get maybe one of the two against Ohio State and Purdue. Like I said, in that first 10, maybe having 8 wins. And then in that next group of 10, looks like an opportunity to get 7 or 8 more. So I think this team is, like I said, tournament bound. I think this team has the capabilities to do so, the variety to beat you from a variety of different ways. Inside with Juju and Derek Queen, outside with Rodney Rice. Deshaun Harris-Smith is still there. I think he's primed for a breakout game. This could be a game he breaks out with his ability as a guard to push the tempo and control the offense and get some easy buckets. And pounding them inside doesn't have to just be the big fellas. It can be the guards attacking the rim, getting them into foul trouble, drawing 2, dishing it to the big men for an easy opportunity. Those are things that I'm going to be looking into and looking into seeing on Friday night. So make sure you guys, if you haven't already, slam dunk that subscribe button, lay up that like button, block that bell, sound off, let me know your thoughts on Maryland and Marquette. Second meeting between the two teams, the biggest test so far for the Terps. I'm going with the Terps to win. I think this could be in the high 70s, low 80s. I think Maryland wins by 3 to 5. And I think they get to 4-0. And I think they start to become a team on the radar to potentially be in that top 5. Apologize for the technical difficulties with the camera, but you can still hear me. Not sure why it went out and went blurry. It is what it is. Probably overheated. We've been working hard every day on the channel for you guys. So make sure you slam dunk that subscribe button, block that bell, lay up that like button, sound off in the comment section. Let me know your prediction on the game, who wins, and leave your favorite emoji. Leave a good, bad, whatever you want to say down below. It helps us out tremendously on the YouTube. God's host, I'll be back with the Maryland football preview this weekend. Face Rutgers. It's do or die. Try to make a bowl game. They held tight against Oregon, covered the spread like I said, but we'll get into that football perspective as they host Rutgers on Saturday, basketball Friday night. So a big weekend at College Park for the Maryland Terps. And this is your home right here on the Flex Zone Podcast, only place giving you your sports and Maryland coverage how you want it when you need it, right here on the podcast. I'll see you in the next video. I'm going with the Terps to beat Marquette and get their biggest win of the season so far to improve to 4-0. Have a good day, everybody.